vinyl community, Beatles fans, random people on the internet. My name is Giggens, and we are here today to talk about the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band 2017 Giles Martin remix. Oh yeah, this is gonna happen. So, this is so cool, man. Alright, basically, Giles Martin is the son of George Martin, and he was in charge of reissuing this album this year, doing his own mix of the record. Now, so many people have had different feelings about this album where it's like, oh, it sounds too loud, or it sounds too punchy, or something. I think it sounds bloody great, okay? This is going to be not so much a review of the album itself, because it's been done so many times. It's going to be a review of just how it sounds, and I guess the feelings you get from the sounds that it makes. So, right off the bat, when you put that needle down and you hear that dum dum like you were just, my jaw dropped. The clarity, the low end, the bass, the drums, the background vocals, everything right off the bat was like in your face, up front, and it sounded like it was recorded this morning. It is phenomenal. The album as a whole does that the entire way through. There wasn't one moment where I was like, that could have been better, or that was okay, or that doesn't sound any different. The entire album sounds different. It was crazy. Particularly, like a little help from my friends, that bass line has always been really good and punchy, but you can really hear like every tiny nuance of the bass line in this one. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, those toms into the chorus, that dun, dun, dun. It sounds like the ceiling was going to fall apart around me. It's so heavy. Getting Better and Fixing a Hole, I mean, same thing. Pianos were clear. The tambura, or tempura, I'm getting that wrong, that goes around in Getting Better, it sounds so, it's amazing. It sounds so clear. She's Leaving Home was one of the highlights that really blew me away, because they made a tender song sound even more special. And, you know, the heartfelt vocals from Paul, John's doing his thing in the background. I mean, it's a really beautiful song. And hearing it with a whole new life like this, again, sounds like they recorded it this morning. I don't know how they make something 50 years old sound new. I don't know how they did it, but it's amazing. Mr. Kite was really cool, especially with the trippy psychedelic stuff at the end. Within You, Without You was great. All of the Indian instruments blending together was a lot of fun to hear the clarity with those, and the bongos sounded really good. One of 64, again, really tight, very tight, clean production, very Penny Lane inspired. Lovely Rita was fun. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background that I never heard before, and I love the guitars on that one. The piano bit in the middle was fun. Good Morning, Good Morning. The drums sound like a circus plundering through the street. It was fantastic. The guitars are really sharp, really in your face. Sgt. Pepper's Reprise kind of has that mix of like a mono stereo thing going on together, where a lot of the stuff at the end where Paul's like screaming about like, all right, we gotta go, okay everybody, all right, bye-bye. Like, you can hear some of that stuff, which is cool. It's more prominently audible in the mono mix as compared to the stereo mix with the original versions. This one's kind of like a blend of the two. The moment that struck me the absolute most was the very last note of the album, with A Day in the Life, with that piano. It put shivers on my spine. It made my skin tingle, like that boom, and you're like, holy crap! Like, how did they do that again? Yeah, the album itself, it just sounds brand new. It's a lot louder, but in a good way, whereas instruments that were a little buried or muddied before it sounds like the album got a bath. Like, someone just, like, they put the album outside and sprayed a hose all over it and got the mess off it and realized it was okay to come back in the house. You know, that's kind of what this is. I can't stop playing it. It sounds amazing. It's probably my favorite mix of the album because it sounds so pleasing to your ears. The The first time I heard a couple tracks from this was actually on a really high-end CD player with some really high-end headphones um, that I was able to listen to it that way for a couple of tracks. And as I heard it that way, I knew it was going to be a special experience to pick it up on vinyl. I don't have the CD yet, and I don't have the box set yet. I'm saving up for the box set. You know, it's like $150 or $120. It's a lot of money. You know, guys got to eat once in a while here. So that's going to happen in the future, and I'll probably do another review at that point of the box set, but this is just for the vinyl itself. As far as the second disc, that was cool. It's basically a run through the entire album, but with demos. And so you get basically really stripped down versions of the songs, especially like with Mr. Kite, When I'm 64, Lovely Rita, Good Morning, Good Morning. Like, you get kind of like, not like half-baked demo ideas, but you know, it was a work in progress. And even those demos, as they were, have been remixed and sound really good too. And one thing I will mention, the very last note of A Day in the Life was them humming. I have never heard of that before. I've read a ton of books on the Beatles over the last 20 odd years, and I've never, ever heard of them humming that last note. So that was crazy to hear. But yeah, so again, this isn't a review of the album, you know, the songs and the album itself. It's just the sound. So I have it in one of my little plastic sleeves, and I tossed the sticker back in there. It's not actually on the cover itself. It's just inside the sleeve. Oh, there you go. Really, if you're looking for something special to listen to, I highly recommend checking this out. If you've heard this album a million times, pick it up, because it's going to be like hearing it for the first time. Like I said, the first time I heard this album, I was probably, oh man, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old. So, you know, 20 years goes by, and I've been loving this album ever since. I've had it, you know, I had it on tape in the 90s. I had the original CD. And then I got the CD reissue in 2009. And then they had the mono mix. And then they had, you know, the record reissues, the stereo and mono. So, like, I've had this album in countless versions over the years. And this one might be my absolute favorite. It's so welcoming that when you hear this, you're like, oh man, they gotta do every album now. My first thought was Rubber Soul. Like, all those acoustic guitars and those brilliant vocals. Imagine them doing Girl or something, like, or I was like, oh man, that would sound so nice. Or I'm Looking Through You, or you know, I've Just Seen a Face or something. Like, that would all sound so great with that new remix treatment. There's a rumor that Magical Mystery Tour is up next, and there was a video that was actually made, but I think it's since been taken down. I can't find it. But the video showed like this immense box set where you get like a replica of Paul's sweater vest, and you get like the replica of the album and all kinds of like paraphernalia that goes with it, and then a Giles Martin remix of the album. But it was credited to Apple Corpse, so you know, I have a feeling it was probably a joke, but it would be interesting. And there's also a rumor that the White Album is up next too, but who knows? We'll see what happens. As of right now, you know, it's the 50th anniversary of this album, and I thought it was fitting that for my 50th album review, the 50th anniversary of one of the best albums of all time should be on there. And it was cool hearing this album because you get a different appreciation for it. Hearing it this way was like hearing it for the first time. And in that sense, you imagine what it must have been like, you know, when this album came out, how different it sounded from everything else. We take it for granted now because hindsight's 2020 and so much has happened since then. And I obviously wasn't alive in 1967, so to put yourself in that place of, you know, reading about what was happening in the world and all the music that was created before this album came out, and then having this album come out, it changed everything. It just completely changed everything. And I feel like it's going to change everything again with this new mix. I think a lot of people are going to rediscover this thing. It's the best-selling album on vinyl of 2017 so far, as of June or July, whatever month we're in now. It's been a long couple of months. And yeah, so I mean, I can't understand why not. I mean, it just sounds that cool. So Anyway, this is just a long, rambling video of me saying that this album sounds nice because it's true, it really does. And I very highly recommend it. If you need a fresh approach on hearing Sgt. Pepper, like you're hearing it for the first time, you cannot go wrong with this thing. It's just mind-blowing. And the bonus stuff is cool too. So I'm really interested in picking up the deluxe box set with all the other stuff on it. So I'm sure some of you guys have heard this thing. What do you think about it? Tell me your thoughts. Tell me about the box set if you've got that already, and let me know. Let's talk about Sgt. Pepper for a while. I'm really excited about this thing, and I think you guys should pick it up. So, oh, that's a sticker of how I figure out where I bought my albums and the date I got them and where I got them, because I'm a nerd and I do that. What? Big whoop. Want to fight about it? The Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, 2017 Giles Martin remix. My name is Giggens. This has been Album Reviews. And thanks, guys, for making amazing music all these years and always being there for us. We really appreciate it. A splendid time is guaranteed for all. Good night.